Well, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana weather. It is a little after 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and I want to bring you the latest video update. We've got a potentially rough situation developing tonight, and what could be even a rough situation early tomorrow morning for us that I want to talk about. And again, potentially tomorrow evening, another rough round of severe weather. We'll talk about all those in tonight's video update. Tonight's video update is sponsored by Metal Magic in Washington. You can give Chad a call at 698-8555 for all of your paintless dent repair needs. And of course, tell them Southern Indiana Weather sent you. Folks, you may need that number. And of course, if you didn't write it down, you can always go back and write it down, folks. Just rewind the video a little bit. All right, current satellite and radar here in motion. Look at this storm complex out to our west. I mean, man, this is a doozy. Let me take off the satellite here. Tornado watches in red. Severe thunderstorm watches in yellow, warnings of the same color. Notice this line, how it is moving through here, and man, oh man, this booger means business. Let me just put a stop to this and zoom in on some of this, and the point of showing you all this is headed our way eventually. Hopefully not in the same state, but we'll see. Let me just fire up this warning right now. Okay, golf ball size hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Let's look at this one. Damage to vehicles expected, quarter-size hail. That one's not too bad compared to some of the others. Public reported golf ball size hail 4 miles here. The public recorded quarter-size hail, baseball size hail, 2.25-inch hail. My goodness, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, baseball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is actually lighter compared to what it was earlier today. Here you go. Just showing you some of these 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. There you go. I looked at some of these earlier this afternoon, and there was one severe thunderstorm that was warned for 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts and golf ball size hail. Can you imagine? I mean, look at the intensity on the radar as you just sort of zoom in on this thing. There is definitely an intense hail core here, folks. So this is nothing to play around with. Let me just put the local storm reports. You can see 2-inch hail reports, 1.75-inch hail reports, 1-inch hail reports. Folks, hail reports here are literally just all over the place. And the reason I show you this tonight, folks, if you have anybody out there, warn them about this. They probably already know about it anyway with it going on like this. But this is actually going to be headed our way. You see this in motion is kind of sliding down this way. Now, what it's actually doing, you can see it's forming into sort of what we call a mesoscale convective complex, an MCC for short. Now, typically these MCCs, if I put the no, I don't want that. Let me put the overlay on here. These lines right here that you see in kind of the orange, this is the 500 millibar heights. Typically what you have on these, what you see are systems like this will follow the mean 500 millibar flow, basically between the lines. So what you would see is these storms would go into maybe central and northern Indiana if it were to take the traditional path. But what happens whenever you have intense severe weather like this is oftentimes it develops a cold pool ahead of the actual storms. And the cold pool, what it is essentially is rain-cooled air outflow from these storms that race ahead of the storms. They act as their own instability and sort of cool the air down in front of it and help propel that line faster and with increasing speed as time goes on, for one. And for two, severe weather can last well into the nighttime hours, even as far as the next day whenever you have these intense cold pools, and they can develop into what we call a derecho. And certainly that's on the table for tonight. We could be looking at a developing derecho. We don't know that. That's something that we'll have to wait and see, but indications are that it could be forming right now. Now, the reason I say that is because oftentimes whenever we see them develop that cold pool, what you have is that they actually take a turn. So if they should be going this way, what you'll see whenever we have a cold pool is that oftentimes they'll take a turn more to the southeast, and that could put southern Indiana right here in the bullseye. So this is something that we will want to watch very closely to see what happens. Let me take all of the data off here, and I want to turn the model data on and just show you what the model data does. Let's look at the HER model. All right. Let me back this up. Here's where we are right now with the HER model. High resolution rapid refresh. It's the strongest resolution model that we have available. First off, let me put the radar back on here. What I want you to see when I put the radar in here, here's where the severe storms are currently. Take the radar off and you see that the radar is actually predicting them to be just a little bit further to the north. Why is that, you ask? Again, We're 5 hours into this particular latest run of the HERM model that I have available to me. Again, whenever you have a cold pool developing, it takes them more further to the southeast. Looks like that's already happening, folks. It looks like that cold pool is already developed and you're already starting to see southeast. That's not good. Keep that in mind as this continues on. Let me put this forward in time. Here we go. Here is about midnight. Here's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Notice the bowing nature of this line. Here is 5 a.m., which is as far as this particular model goes out to right now. And you see it's kind of here. If it's continuing on a southeastward, it's possible that even the stronger portion up here, you may, if it keeps on its current trajectory, may even see it more like this and not have this up here. That's a possibility. We're going to have to watch this, but you notice here it was developing up into here, and it looks like it's making a beeline right for southern Indiana in the models, okay? Right for our southern Indiana weather coverage area. So we will have to watch this closely to see whether this really happens overnight or not. This is not something that we can say definitely that it will happen, but it's certainly something that we've got to keep an eye on tonight. So folks, make sure you have your NOAA weather radios on tonight. You may end up needing them. You need a way to be woke up, folks. If we end up with 70, 80, 90, 100 mile per hour wind gust warnings tonight out of this, folks, you want to be in your basement for that. Those can do severe damage to your residence. 100 mile per hour wind gusts, you know what? That's as much as a low-end tornado and over a wider area. So you want to take these thunderstorm warnings seriously if this line does roll through tonight. I want to put the scare tactics out here, but I want you to be aware of what could happen tonight, folks. All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed and pray that that doesn't happen tonight, but it is on the table at this point. All questions are up in the air. How far does this hold together? We'll see. Let me take you into the high-resolution NAM. It's a little bit different on this. So here we go. Here's the 5 a.m., that same run. And remember, it's already over to here in the HERM model. It's not as much up into here. And then watch this. Notice how it just sort of fizzles out that MCC as the morning wears on. Here we are by about 9 a.m. and it's completely gone. And you've got just some general rain over the area and nothing to worry about. So one says we've got it staying strong. One says we doesn't. Well, you know, the reality is these future radars have a hard time understanding what's going on when you've got a very complex system like what we've got developing out there tonight. So we'll just take everything with a grain of salt, and we'll have to nowcast. I'm showing you both options. It could happen, it could not happen. I'm showing you both of them. Let me go ahead and put this forward in time, and I can show you what's the high-resolution NAM, which is a longer range model. Goes out to goes out to a few days, 2.5 days here. And here we go. Here is tomorrow afternoon, and so we've got this would be about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you see maybe some severe thunderstorms potentially toward India at this time, according to the radar. Watch it stretch here to the south. Then watch as this moves through. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little more tightly on. This into southern Indiana, and you can actually see the cities with this. Let me go back here. Okay, so here we are. Let's time it out. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. This is all Eastern time. 5, 6 o'clock. A nice line moving through. 7 o'clock. Finally, that line is pretty much along the Ohio River. 8 o'clock. It is all through us and into Kentucky. That's the way the high-resolution NAM sees this. But you can see it looks like it could be a pretty intense squall line. So all modes of severe weather certainly in play for tomorrow. But damaging winds would be the main threat with this because it's in a linear fashion. If this holds out, if it becomes more of a supercell type of threat where you have individual cells like this racing ahead of a line, then you would have more of a tornado threat with it. The threat for tornadoes would be there. It's certainly there, but the damage and wind threats by far are the biggest threat at this point. Let me take you to the Storm Prediction Center's website, just real quick, show you what's going on for tonight. Here is the latest outlook, and they have actually issued a very rare high risk out for Iowa tonight, and this is rare. In fact, they've only had 3 outlooks that have had high risk in the past 6 months, so take that seriously, folks, and notice that the slight risk just kind of cuts off just to our north and west, but this goes through 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and it is likely that certainly we'll have the potential for some severe weather early in the morning if this line does indeed hold together. We'll watch it. Maybe, maybe not, but we will see. The tornado threat, obviously, here, as I show you, is the highest out towards Nebraska and Iowa. The wind threat is the higher, continuing on down through that. That's what we're going to be mainly looking at, that and the large hail threat. But the wind threat is the greatest threat with this. Let me take you into the day 2 outlook and just quickly show you what to expect for tomorrow. Storm Prediction Center still has us in a slight risk for severe weather. It is an upper end slight, denoted here by the 30% red, and the hatched area, of course, denotes a significant severe weather event. That is a 10% or greater probability of significant severe weather within 25 miles of a point. So significant severe weather could be defined as really large hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, or EF2 tornadoes or greater, I believe. So again, this is the area that is hatched for the strongest threat, and you see it is really covering all of southern Indiana. So that is sort of the way things stand right now, folks. We've got potentially a round that we have to deal with early tomorrow morning, and then another round tomorrow afternoon that could be very bad as well. So we've got a lot going on tonight. Keep it right here to Southern Indiana Weather, and I'll have the latest. You can follow us on Twitter as well, at SouthernINWX. Post regular updates on there, as well as our Facebook page, so keep it tuned right here. You can go to southernindianaweather.com and get your 7-day forecast. You can also download our app and get this as well, but it's easier for me to show you this on the web page. Again, tomorrow I think we're going to go up to about 85 degrees. Sun and clouds mixed. There's still quite much question as far as how much sunshine we get tomorrow. Less sunshine will mean less of a risk for severe weather, but I think we're all at risk for severe weather tomorrow. It's looking bad at this point, folks. Let's cross our fingers and hope it changes, but as of right now, it's looking pretty bad. Breezy southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, and severe thunderstorms are likely. Winds in excess of 70 miles per hour, large hail, and even a few tornadoes, primarily late in the afternoon and evening time frame. And again, we may stand that chance of severe weather even during the late overnight hours tonight into the early morning hours. We will see. That is certainly on the table, but not a definite at this point. All right. Folks, that is it for tonight, this edition of the Severe Weather Update. Nothing going on right now, but just a few small thunderstorms, nothing severe around the area. Keep an eye on radar this evening as we see how this develops, because we have certainly got some strong severe weather potentially headed our way. I'll have more updates throughout the evening to come for Southern Indiana Weather. I'm Meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great night, folks. Stay safe, and remember to turn your NOAA weather radios on tonight.